Living by the word radio.
Broadcasting faith, truth, and inspiration throughout the Caribbean and beyond. Faith, truth, inspiration.
You're listening and viewing Living by the Word Radio.
Living by the Word Radio.
Where faith comes alive.
Good morning. A new day is here, full of promise and possibility. Whatever challenges yesterday brought, today is a fresh start. A chance to breathe, to hope, to begin again.
Take a moment to center your heart.
Lift your spirit and focus on what truly matters. This is Inspirational Thoughts, your weekly boost, airing Tuesday to Friday at 8:15 a.m.
With your host, Dexter.
Start your day inspired and start your day transformed. Good morning. A new day is here, full of promise.
This needs to go on. This needs to go on. Shalom, shalom, shalom from Yahweh our Father and from His Son Yahshua. Bon dia, mi hendinan stima. Bon bini na Inspirational Thoughts un programa di Living by the Word. This week has taken us on a very interesting journey. We learned how easily people can be influenced by information. We learned that truth can challenge our assumption. Yesterday, we discovered that every one of us is influenced by something. But this morning, I want for us to talk or to ask one final question, and that is, why does influence matter? Why do you think influence matter? I would really love to know. I will share my understanding with you this morning, but you could also share your understanding in the comment section. So why does influence matter? I believe because influence is not something about popularity. Influence to me is about responsibility. Yahweh has placed every one of us where we are for a reason, for a purpose, whether in our home, our workplace, our congregation, our community. Every believer has been given opportunities to influence others. The question is, how are we using that influence? I would like to pause for a while as I share the quote for this morning. I also wanted to share a video, but it's going to take a little too much. I may share it some other time. Leadership is not first about standing before people. It is first about standing faithfully before Yahweh. Should I repeat this? Did you get it? Let me repeat it just in case. Leadership is not first about standing before people. It is first about standing faithfully before Yahweh. Leadership begins before the title. Do you agree with that statement? One of the greatest misunderstandings today is that leadership begins with a title. People believe when I become the manager, when I become an elder, and I want for us to listen to this point very closely. When I become a minister, when I become the preacher, when I become this, or when I become a member of parliament, when I become a member of parliament, then I will become a leader. There are many who hold this perspective. Many of our politicians and probably ministers and pastors do. But let us look at Joseph. I believe, folks, it begins with character. The Bible teaches us something different from how the world views it. It teaches us that leadership begins before the position. In other words, if a man says he is this, then there needs to be some evidence to prove that. So before I even think of putting myself in a leadership position, I want to exhibit leadership by demonstrating. We should not wait until we are in the position to act. We have to act the position before we are in it. Does that make any sense? I hope I'm not confusing you. And I didn't try to, it wasn't my intention. Right? So the Bible teaches that leadership begins long before the position. It begins with character. Joseph was a leader before Pharaoh promoted him. David was a leader before he wore the crown. Daniel was a leader before the kings trusted him. Why? Because Yahweh develops character before he entrusts responsibility. And I don't know who needs to hear this. And I think that needs to be repeated. Yahweh develops character before he entrusts responsibilities. Luke chapter 10, chapter 16 and verse 10. He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. Yahweh watches how we handle small responsibilities before giving us greater ones. Yahweh shapes our character before he gives us greater responsibilities. Yahweh ta forma nos character prome ku e ta duna nos mas responsabilidad. Everything Yahweh gives us is a trust. Our family, our friendship, our work, our gifts, our voice, none of these exist merely for ourselves. They are opportunities to serve others. How are you using your gifts? How are you using your talents? How are you using your voice? And every single day we use these things, but have we ever stopped and pause for a moment and consider how we are using the gifts and the talents that God has given us? Because when we think no one is watching, someone is watching and learning. And as a matter of fact, they are downloading, they are processing. Matthew chapter 5 verse 16 tells us, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Notice that Yahweh did not tell us to seek attention. He told us to live in such a way that people glorify the Father. That is true influence. The difference between power and service. The world often teach, gain power, protect your position, build your reputation. Yahweh taught something radically different. In Mark 10, verse 42 and 45, Yahweh reminded his disciples that worldly rulers exercise authority over people. Then he said, whosoever will be great among you shall be your minister. For even the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister. That, I believe, changes everything. Biblical leadership is not about control, it is about service. And that's one of the points that a lot of individuals who are in leadership position that they miss. Because when they get into power, when they get into the position, here's the thing: it's all about power, control, and they forget that it is about service. It's about the service that we render. And I know right now our minds are have been illuminated. Now we are viewing things and seeing at angles. So now I don't have to spell it out. We can apply it in the different arenas, in the different fields. But more so, and most importantly, we need to apply this to ourselves. Because that's where the real change begins, with me and with you. Every believer has a sphere of influence. Some people believe I don't have influence. That isn't true. Parents influence children, grandparents influence families, teachers influence students, employers influence workers, church members influence one another, neighbors influence neighbors. Every one of us is shaping someone else's life. The question is, what are we shaping them into? And we also have to look at this from a position of leadership. Leadership in the church, leadership in our communities, leadership in our country. As leaders, we need to question the people. They're looking and they're learning. What are they learning? What type of culture are we building? What type of church environment are we promoting? Philippians chapter 2, verse 3 to 4 says, let nothing be done for strife or vainglory, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem other better than themselves. Influence without humility becomes pride. Influence with humility becomes service. But folks, a new conversation is about to begin. Over the past 2 weeks, many of you have reached out with thoughtful questions. One question has surfaced again and again. Can a believer serve in public office? Can a preacher serve in government? Should Christians avoid politics? Or can faith shape public service? And I want to ask this question again. Can faith shape public service? These are important questions and they deserve careful, biblical, and respectful discussions. For that reason, Living by the Word Radio will soon begin a special community conversation entitled Faith and Public Service. This will not be a debate, it will be a Bible centered discussion. We will hear from different perspectives, we will examine the scriptures, and we will ask one question above all. What does Yahweh say? What does His word teach? If you would like to contribute your thoughts, questions, or experiences. We would love to hear from you. Send us an email, lbwradio@gmail.com. Whether you are a minister, community leader, public servant, or simply someone who wants to learn, you are invited to join the conversation. A date will be set where we will seek, because I don't want this to be a monologue. I don't just want this to be my voice. I want to dialogue, because the whole objective of inspirational thoughts is to inspire and motivate us as individuals as we run this Christian race. And not only should we focus on the Christian race, but we also have to focus on how we live physically, because Jesus, he didn't just preach to people. Jesus, he fed, he clothed, he healed. Well, what you find happening today is that all we want to do is preach, preach, preach. And there are people who are experiencing emotional turmoil. People are going through real challenges. Some can't even send their children to school. There are a lot of those things happening around us. What are we doing? Our society is collapsing before us. What are we doing? So we want to cater to the whole man here on Inspirational Thoughts. So as you go through today, remember this. Do not wait for a title before becoming an influence. Do not wait for a position before you start serving others. Do not wait for recognition before you start living faithfully, because the greatest leaders in Scripture were first faithful servants. A position may give you authority, but only character gives you lasting influence. May Yahweh help us to become men and women whose influence points others towards Him. May our lives reflect humility, integrity, and faithful service. Until next week, Lord willing, I pray that God will bless you and keep you. Shalom, shalom, from God our Father and from His Son, Yeshua, or Jesus the Christ. For those of you who stayed with me right through, thank you. And I pray that again, that the Lord will continue to bless you and keep you. Until next week, Lord willing. Ayo.
Good morning. A new day is here, full of promise and possibility. Whatever challenges yesterday brought, today is a fresh start. A chance to breathe, to hope, to begin again.
Take a moment to center your heart, your heart.
Lift your spirit and focus on what truly matters. This is Inspirational Thoughts, your weekly boost, airing Tuesday to Friday at 8:15 a.m.
With your host, Dexter.
Start your day inspired and start your day transformed.
Living by the Word Radio.
Living by the Word Radio.
Broadcasting faith, truth, and inspiration throughout the Caribbean and beyond. Faith, truth, inspiration.